Janice, I couldn't agree more. They are so brutal. You know what? It's so icy out here that the technology that we use to bring you this report right now, live on air, keeps going to black. So if it goes to black again, please know that I love y'all, and please know that we're not going to do you like the Sopranos did on their last episode where it just cuts to black. No, but I do want to step out of the way because I want you to still try to see these waves out here. I know. Okay, look at this. Is this not a work of art? Right? You got the pineapples on top. You know what I mean? You got the color. Like, you just want to eat this. I want to introduce you to the creator over to my right. This is Justin Hawkins. We're getting him in action. He owns Frostbite Shaved Ice. Now, Justin, we were saying off camera, I grew up and I thought this was called Italian ice, but clearly this is shaved ice.
Yes, Frostbite Shaved Ice. It's
How's the artwork over on your side of town?
Josh, you know I love art, so I love it no matter where I am. But yes, I got to show you this piece right behind me. It's called Transmigration, which means, you know, to move one place to the next. But the artist was telling me, and the artist from Chicago, by the way, let me say that, was telling me that this was fashioned to look like, and was cut to look like a phoenix, which we all know is a symbol of hope. And what I love so much, too, I just love the contrast of the red and the orange right here. So as you walk and move, you can see the differences. But again, this is called Transmigration. You'll see it right out front of the DeVos Center here, and it's one of the amazing, beautiful artwork you will see around here. And get this, because today, though, is day one of Hispanic Heritage Month, we want to introduce you to an artist and a piece that is very special inside. So the event is over, but it was packed. The governor sat right here and made history, but she also talked about the significance of women and families not having to pay taxes on one of these. Max, you know me too well. I did not get on the motorcycle as you see behind me, but I did went to a vendor and I just asked if I can get some B-roll of them making whatever they were making, a burger, and he said as long as I can give it to you for free. And it ended up being a double cheeseburger grilled with grilled cheese, grilled onions, and grilled mushrooms. And so it was amazing. It is my love language. And right now we have team coverage. Meteorologist Reese Cole and Haley Vaughn joins us in the Weather Center. Guys, this weather is breaking my soul. Beyonce said don't do that, but this is breaking my soul.
I promise sunshine is on the horizon.
Officers sure being charged with second-degree murder today. Lauren.
Doug and Janice, you know, I'm still here in the offices of Attorney Ben Johnson. In fact, he's standing right next to me, and I'm joined by Peter Luyoya, Israel Siku, the interpreter. And, you know, Mr. Johnson, I want to ask you as well, hearing that sort of the praise, hearing the thank you, what does that mean to you? Is this why you do what you do?
Well, I represent people, and there are no better people than the Lila family.
It's one of the oddest cases. So, Lauren, let me give it to you, because this is your backyard. This is where you work. What do we know about the family in general at this point?
Michael, thank you so much for having me on this. But one thing that we do know, and it's funny, I asked the chief, Fremont police chief, that same question. What do we know about them? And he said that extended family told him that they're just a loving family. When you just heard the soundbite there about the woman saying they brought us cookies, they were very loving and welcoming in that way, and that they had moved up from North Carolina, I believe Wilson, North Carolina, I think 4 years ago. And so they said they cared for their boys full time, who, you know, their boys have autism, and their mom, the grandmother, Suzette's mom, has dementia. So when I asked, he said they've been described as loving people.
Lauren Edwards spoke with experts and is live in studio with what she's learned. Lauren?
Josh, Janice, over the past few years, I've covered a number of protests, marches, and demonstrations. Some of them were peaceful, some of them not. But does this activism actually lead to tangible change?
Use your First Amendment, okay?
Certainly, you know, the community has all right to get out there and throw your fist up and yell and scream and bring attention to the problem.
It's something that's been happening a lot lately in Grand Rapids.
The thing that people use protests for the most here is to make your voices heard.
On April 4th, Patrick Luyoya was shot in the head by Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Schur. Since then, protests have broken out in the city.
What do we want? Justice!
And the state. Black Lives Matter Michigan holding this one last week on the steps of the state capitol.
We are here for a peaceful protest, but peace doesn't always mean that we're just going to stand by with our arms behind our back asking for things.
During these protests and demonstrations, there have been tense moments, like this one on Tuesday night at the city commission meeting. However, most protests and demonstrations have remained peaceful, which is what the Loyola family wants. Hundreds so far have participated.
For people who want to grieve collectively and they want their voice to be heard, it's important. I mean, it's for the same reason people go to church and they sing. There is this feeling of fellowship that comes from the shared situation.
No justice! No peace! GVSU professor Corey Anton says that's the best way to be heard.
I think it's, from my own perspective, it is really only effective when it has, a lot of peacefulness and it's done in good spirits of solidarity.
Sit-ins, die-ins, boycotts are all forms of peaceful protests.
Hands up, don't shoot!
Back in 2020, following the death of George Floyd, the ACLED research group says of the 10,600 protests that happened in the U.S. that summer, 95% were peaceful. Anton says when they turn extreme or into civil unrest or violent, like what we saw in Grand Rapids in 2020, that's when the message gets muddy.
Because if they go to extreme means, and oftentimes it's trying to resist what they're calling extreme means, it's so easy for critics and opponents to just call it hypocrisy.
But even when things get violent, protests still serve a purpose, says Central Michigan University's Laurel Swissler.
I understand the hesitancy that people have and the desire they have to sort of create categories of good protesters and bad protesters. But the truth of it is we are dealing with violent social structures. And so it's kind of a hypocritical ask to tell people who are suffering under violent oppression to be polite and quiet.
Swissler says she does not endorse nor advocate for violence, but she says there's still a message behind them and they have led to change.
Basically, every major social justice milestone in American history has been the result of people being in the streets. So when we think about the abolition of slavery, when we think about votes for women, women's suffrage.
Along with the LGBTQ plus rights and the civil rights movement from the 1950s, Swissler says all that activism led to structural change and justice. However, experts say justice isn't always immediate.
I think that the more uncomfortable people are about the protests, then the more likely they are to listen to more official pleas to make change.
In Grand Rapids, Lauren Edwards, Fox 17 News. The first game of the season did not go the Lions' way here at Ford Field, but Coach Campbell and the players say they are determined to right their wrongs and get on track. Reese, thank you so much. Best news of the day, football is back. High five.
Yeah, go Cowboys.
Woo! Oh, God. Oh, sorry. And it all begins with Western Michigan football. They hit the practice fields today.
Yeah, Jason Hutton joins us now with more from day one in Kalamazoo. Jason.
And it's just game one. Next week, they got the Commanders coming in. And then on the 25th, they head up to Minnesota to face the Vikings. Reporting here at Ford Field in Detroit, Lauren Edwards, Fox 17 News.